योऽन्ता प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तान् सञ्जीवयत किल शक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणात् त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं कथाञ्चन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्य नमामितम्। Hare Krishna. Thank you. Shivam Prabhu, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, you are very clear.
Okay, thank you. So thank you all devotees. So now is the, I want to discuss with you this very important topic called when how is a hiding place. So many of us have questions in life like how to improve our spiritual lives. Everybody has this question, right? We have a question on how to manage our family life better, how to lead a balanced life. So these are natural questions and these are necessary questions. Let me clarify, let me repeat this. These questions are natural and necessary. But today we'll go deeper into the nature of our questions and understand how to ask the question, especially the how questions. How do we ask them? The Srimad Bhagavatam explains that after Parikshit Maharaj asked a few questions to Shukdev Goswami, what did Shukdev Goswami say in response? He first congratulated him for asking questions. He says, Varyaneshate prashna krita lokam hitam nripa atmavid sammata pumsam shrotavyadi shuyahapara. He says, excellent questions. So, Parikshit Maharaj asked questions. We also ask questions. Shukdev Goswami, in response to Parikshit Maharaj's question, says, excellent questions. Varyan. Why? Because your questions, the answers will benefit the whole world. Atmavid sammatah pumsam, it will satisfy the soul and it will also bring benefit to the whole world. That's why your questions are excellent, because they are the topics which will benefit the whole world. So this is the first response we get from Shukdev Goswami. Also very interesting, in the 10th canto, Shukdev Goswami says about Srimad Bhagavatam classes, the spiritual discourses, there are three kinds of people who get benefit when they attend a spiritual discourse. So you could be in one of the three categories. Very interesting. Please listen to this carefully. There are three kinds of people when they attend a spiritual discourse, whether online or offline, that's immaterial. But when we attend a class, when we attend any Bhagavatam class, three kinds of people get benefits. It's interesting to know. The 10th canto, Shukdev Goswami says, Vasudeva Kata Prashna Purusham Strin Punatihi Vaktaram Prachakam Shrotrim Tatpada Salilam Yata. Three kinds of people. Vasudeva Kata, Krishna Katha, Trin Punatihi. The Sanskrit word three and the English word three are same. Trin Punatihi. Three kinds of people get benefit. Who are they? Vaktaram. When we are speaking Krishna Katha, he gets benefit. So why is this ABC classes happening? So that I get benefit. Vaktaram. The speaker gets benefit glorifying Krishna. So no problem. That is the first person who gets benefit. Vaktaram Prachakam. Prachakam means those who ask questions. Those who ask questions also get benefit. And Shrotrims, those who are hearing. All three kinds of people get benefit. Tatpada, Salilam Yata. Just like Mother Ganga flows to all the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. Similarly, in a Bhagavatam class, the one who is speaking, one who is hearing, one who is asking questions, all of them get benefit. But this is very important because yesterday, one devotee wrote to me saying, Prabhu, you are going to speak on asking how questions, but what if I don't have any questions? I just don't like to ask any questions in class. Will I get benefit? Yes. You don't have to always ask questions. We don't have to artificially come up with questions. Because some devotees have no questions, so it's perfectly fine. As long as we have a culture of receiving Krishna, as long as we have a culture of hearing about Krishna. Therefore, at the outset, let me clarify that questions, asking questions is a sign of intelligence. Please know that. Srila Prabhupada encouraged it. Please ask questions. Please think of questions. Krishna urges Arjuna in the Gita. What does he say in the 4th chapter? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Please ask questions. Pariprashnena, but in a mood of service. So again, I want to clarify, it is this question mentality, the seeker mentality that is very beneficial. You know the story of Prince Siddharth, who went on to become Gautam Buddha? Prince Siddharth became Gautam Buddha because he asked questions. He wanted to know what is death, why people are taking birth, why there is disease. So this curiosity mindset, the other, this is very important. Generally, we have a cynical mindset. We know all the answers. We don't want to ask questions. So it's important to ask questions, but more important, how we ask questions. Is it in a mood of cynicism or is it in a mood of curiosity? Is there a service attitude or is there some arrogance? So as we spend time in spiritual life, now I want to take a detour. I want to make a change in our discussion. Asking questions is encouraged in the scriptures. Definitely. But I want to drop a bomb now. When we spend some time in spiritual life, please listen to this with an open heart. This is my observation of my own spiritual life. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying how all my mind has tricked me. I've realized that we land up asking questions not because we want to advance in spiritual life, but we ask questions to avoid spiritual life. That also happens. So I'll explain how this happens. It's not the external questions are not important. The attitude, the desire to know, the attitude to serve. So what happens when we have that attitude? Whenever we hear Krishna consciousness classes, it wakes us up suddenly. There is a wake up. The inner orientation is right. If it is not right, if the inner orientation is not right, if you don't have a proper attitude, then when we ask questions, it takes us nowhere. But if the inner orientation is right, then even without asking questions, you get a lot of answers. I'm sure many of you must have felt that. Sometimes in a class, like today, I'll give an example of today morning class, yesterday's class. So when I was in UK traveling for 3 weeks, every day morning I would log into Chowpatty Bhagavatam classes because my schedule was hectic. But hearing the daily morning classes, I didn't have forum to ask questions also. But just hearing the classes attentively, because that time the attitude was right, because I was desperate, I could see a lot of answers I was getting. So it is not, so the point is, if the inner orientation is right, even if you don't ask questions, you get answers. But if the inner orientation is not right, even if you ask questions, we don't get answers. I remember Radha Gopinath Prabhu, one of our senior leaders in our temple, he's the temple president. When he was a young brahmachari, he says that he would ask a lot of questions to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Even before Maharaj would finish the answer, he would ask the next question. You would always ask series of questions. So at one day, Radhanath Swami Maharaj snapped him. Very gently, of course, cut him. He said, Prabhu, only if it is a question of life and death, please ask a question. If it's your question of life and death, then you ask a question. Otherwise, your question has no meaning. So the point is, the question should not be asked just for the sake of it. So what happens actually? What happens when we ask? Let us say we are very sincere. We want to advance in spiritual life. And when we ask questions, what is psychology? What happens? As we start hearing the answers, or when we are reading spiritual books, that's like somebody answering. When you're reading a book, it is Bhagavatam answering, Bhagavad Gita answering. When we read or hear, it's like a sleeping person being woken up. It's a wake up. We are fast asleep. And when you are fast asleep, somebody comes and says, Prabhu, wake up. You wake up. Actually, that's how Srimad Bhagavatam acts. We are enjoying in this world, we are suffering. And then we come to a Bhagavatam class, it's like a sleeping man has been woken up. Have you experienced this? When you're deep asleep, somebody comes and just calls out your name. You wake up. So Srimad Bhagavatam class is meant to wake us up from our ignorance. That's how the psychology it works. Like I'll give an example of how this wakes us up. See, I'm sure you also must have experienced something like this. Now, I'm a brahmachari, so we have this, saffron robes. So in India, I don't know how it works in the West so much because I've not traveled alone in the West. But in India, when I travel in the trains or buses, not now, but sometimes before, I remember sometimes people would make fun also. People respect you because you're in saffron, but there are people. I remember when I had a long shika, a few times people have pulled my shika also from behind in the train. So people make fun, they crack jokes, they think you are a celibate monk, so they crack jokes on sex life. They are loud, they want to see your reaction. They do that often. So one day I was walking in the August Kranti Maidan for my evening walk, and there was a group of young boys and girls. And as soon as they saw me coming, they cracked such ribald jokes that it crossed all limits of decency. And they said something which I doubt if even decent ordinary people in their private chambers also a couple would not talk. They spoke something very obnoxious and I was shocked, but I pretended as if I'm completely cool because I didn't want to react. I continued walking, and then they laughed loudly. And the next round, see, it takes 3 minutes to walk one round. The next round I came again, they said something very obscene. And just when I left them, right in front of me I saw an old man who has been coming to the park for many, many years. His servant tells me that he's been coming for the last 60 years. This man is in 90s. He's like, he's wobbling and he just struggled to sit on the bench. So when I looked at him, suddenly time froze. I looked at him and then I looked at these boys and girls who were, I think, 30, 40 meters away from me. They were laughing. I looked at them. Then I looked at this old man. Then I looked at them. I looked at him. I kept looking at each other because suddenly it was like, as if I was woken up. I realized at that point of time that this old man one day was a young boy like these boys and girls here. He was also enjoying, maybe cracking jokes, having fun. And these young boys and girls here who are enjoying now, one day will become like this old man, unable to walk, unable to enjoy. And then I looked at myself, I'm at the cusp of old age. I'm 52. Then I was thinking, okay, I'm in the middle of these boys and girls, and I'm in the middle of this old man. It was figuratively, I was in the middle, and I was like, okay. It was as if, it was a wake up moment for me how death can come, how enjoyment and sense gratification is useless. It was a space of feeling, it is like woken up fresh when you are deep asleep and you wake up feeling fresh. It was a moment of peace. It was a moment of wake up. It was a moment when everything the Bhagavatam says made sense to me. So my question to you is, when you hear Bhagavatam classes, when you study Bhagavad Gita, when you read scriptures, do you wake up? Not always. I'm not saying always. But even if it happens once in a week or once in a while, that means we are in the right process. Many of us don't wake up in a Srimad Bhagavatam class because we are not sleeping. Do you know what is happening with us? You know what is our problem? We are not sleeping. We are pretending to be sleeping. So when a person pretends to sleep, he cannot be woken up. Anybody has done this? Anybody's experienced that when you pretend to sleep, have you pretended to sleep and not woken up? Anybody has any experience like that? I have experience. As a teenager, I'll never forget this incident in my life. So I had a fight with some teenage friends of mine, my cousins. So I was a teenager, and one day that family came home. I was in my room sleeping. So my mom and dad came, opened the door, and they said, "See, your brothers have come." So I pretended to sleep as if I'm sleeping. My father immediately sensed this rascal is acting. So my mom said, no, mom is always generally kind, So mom is, I can hear all of that conversation. My mom is telling my dad, no, let him sleep. He's tired. No, let him sleep. So my father is saying he's a rascal. He's just acting. He's not asleep. We are shouting his name and he's not waking up. My dad could immediately send, but I continued to sleep, like that. And then they went. And then after some time, my cousins left. And then I came outside to the hall of the house and I was saying, Acha koi aaya tha kya ghar pe? My father said, you rascal. He blasted me. And my mom is telling him, don't get angry with him. He was tired. So then because of my ego, I didn't accept that I was sleeping. But my father chastised me and I went back to my room. So that particular day, I avoided my cousins. Now, when I look back, I realize that was a classic case of pretending to sleep. So in spiritual life, this also happens. What does it mean to pretend to sleep? Please understand this. This is a very, very important point. Srila Prabhupada has explained this many times. I want you to hear very attentively. Pretending to sleep means resisting influence. Are we resisting influence of spiritual talks? Means, are you open to hear what is coming? Like, I don't want to wake up. So in my inner journey, what happens is, I don't want to be enlightened, and I resist the influence of the subject matter that's coming out. And Shukdev Goswami calls this out in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the second canto, he exposes many of us. He says, Deya Patya Kalatradishu Atmaseneshu Asatsapi Tesham Pramatta Nidanam Pashyan Api Na Pashyati. He says, oh, this hard-working, foolish man, he is having sex at night. He is working hard for money in the daytime. And he's seeing that his family is dying. He's seeing that all his friends are dying. But he has faith in his army, Atma Sena, but he doesn't realize that it is Asat Sapi. And although he sees everyone is dying, what happens to him? Pashyan api na pashyati. He's seeing everything is going down. He sees, but he doesn't see. Means he is actually able to see death everywhere, but he doesn't realize because he is blinded. When we come to Krishna consciousness, we are in the state of slumber. And then when we hear Krishna consciousness wakes us up. But Srila Prabhupada said we have what is called as causeless stubbornness, causeless unwillingness. Means we don't hear, we hear, but we don't want to understand. See, the mind, let me tell you, this is my experience. The mind knows how to avoid Krishna. Let me tell you this. Mind is expert. The mind will cheat us and will make us escape Krishna's loving embrace. And you know what one of the tricks the mind does? Amazing, powerful technique of the mind to help us avoid Krishna by asking questions. How? See, there is a phrase which is used in self-help, in psychology. You can't wake someone who is pretending to be asleep. That means there is an inner resistance. Even the best of the psychologists cannot help a patient if there is inner resistance. So, as a devotee, please understand, you may not be rebellious. Okay, you are not. We are not rebellious. Even I am not rebellious. But we have inner resistance to surrender to Krishna. You know how that comes? It comes in the form of intellectual questioning. That questioning appears very sincere, but it is subtly evasive. Please understand, this is not about physical sleep. This is a state where we already know what we should do, but we don't want to do it. So what we do, we start asking questions. We don't really want the answers. We delay action in the guise of seeking clarity. Let me get clarity and then I will act. I'll repeat. Let me get clarity, then I will act. This is the mind pretending to be a student while secretly the mind is actually being a saboteur. He's actually trying to sabotage, but the mind pretends to be a sin. So I'll give a simple example. The mind says, how do I surrender to Krishna? So when I ask this question, how do I surrender to Krishna? You may not like this answer, Prabhus, but I've gone through this phase where I've asked this question, how do I surrender to Krishna? But deep within, or what my mind was meaning when I was asking that question was, how do I surrender to Krishna? Actually, I don't want to surrender, but I want an excuse to delay my surrender. So how do I delay my surrender? Let me ask more questions on this. So like, for example, you hear in a class, you should chant with attention. Have you heard any speaker say, we should chant attentively? We should surrender to Krishna. All this we hear all the time. We also hear, we should feel gratitude. Oh, this is all the time I hear. We should feel grateful. A sincere response and a mind tricking is like this. Sincere response would be, yes, I want to surrender to Krishna. Yes, I want to feel gratitude. Yes, I want to chant attentively. Please help me. That is a sincere attitude. But the mind tricking mind's response is, how do I surrender? How do I chant with attention? How do I feel gratitude? Now this looks like eagerness, but it is not a thirst for action. It is a way to postpone. You know why? Because when we ask how immediately, rather than saying, yes, I want to chant the holy name, if that is the first response, great. If the first instinctive response is, yes, I want to chant attentively, great, you're on the right track. But if the first response is how to chant attentively, what we are doing is we are shifting the burden. Now the teacher has to answer the question, not me. When I ask how, The scriptures has to deliver a formula. The speaker has to give answer. The process has to make me feel something before I commit. It helps you to stay on the fence, my dear friends. It helps you to it helps you to appear spiritual but avoid transformation. There is a difference between appearing spiritual and going through transformation. In many cases, when we ask how is supposed to be a bridge for change. When we ask any how question, it's a bridge so that we go to the other side, we change our lives. But many times the how becomes a barrier. The how is not born out of a genuine desire, but there is a subtle defense mechanism of the mind. The mind wants to feel safe. The mind wants to avoid discomfort. The mind wants to postpone surrender. In the spiritual journey, one of the most dangerous forms of stagnation doesn't come from atheism. Prabhus, most of us are not atheists. We are not lazy also. But there is something called as disguise of sincerity. When we ask how, there is, we all go through, I don't know if I've gone through this. We go through a challenge in spiritual life after some years where spiritual life appears challenging. We feel dry. We feel inadequate. We feel unworthy. We start worrying if Krishna loves me. Now that is the time we are supposed to dive deeper and we have to ask Krishna, please, I want to feel your love. I want to surrender. Instead of diving deeper, we step back and we start asking how. Because this how is not an appeal for guidance. This is how is a delay tactic. It's a hiding place. It's a mental loop that keeps us from action. And the classic case of somebody, the wrong type of asking questions is Dhritarashtra in the Mahabharata. This is a classic case where a person is asking questions, but it is disguised as philosophy. Dhritarashtra would always ask questions. What to do? How can I help? How can I improve the situation? Now, the best part was Dhritarashtra always knew what was right. Dhritarashtra always knew what was right. He was not confused. What was his problem? He was attached. So when Dhritarashtra was asking questions, he was not asking questions because he was confused. He was asking questions because he was attached. So when I'm asking questions, why am I asking questions? Because transformation, Prabhus, Matajis, is not hard. See, transformation is easy. We can go through changes. We think it is intellectually complex, so we ask questions. No, it's hard because it makes you feel vulnerable. You have to give up control. You have to give up the narrative of I already know. And that's very uncomfortable. But the mind throws up a smoke screen. You know what is a smoke screen? In battles they do that. They create a smoke screen so that the soldiers can escape. So the mind throws up a smoke screen. Yes, I'm willing. Prabhuji, I just need more clarification. So how to surrender to Krishna? You were speaking about surrender. You were speaking about chanting. So I just need a little more clarification. But in truth, it is not lack of knowledge. We already know. We have been hearing so many classes. You know what is the actual truth? It is a fear of what will happen if I actually surrender. We all have a fear. What will happen if I surrender to Krishna? It's scary. I'll admit it's scary for me also. So I'm not judging you. Please don't feel bad, but it's scary. Like Arjuna in the Gita, he was asking, what should I do? But he was not surrendering. Finally, he surrendered. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava pruchhami tvam dharma sammuda cheta yachreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyaste hamsadi mam tvam prapannam. He said, Krishna, now I surrender. Actually, after he surrendered, then Krishna answered all his questions. Before that, whatever questions he was asking or whatever comments he was giving, Krishna was just chastising him. So Arjuna was teachable only when he surrendered. So today I'm asking you that you ask questions when you read Bhagavatam or when you hear a class. Which type of questions do you ask? Are you Dhritarashtra type or are you Parikshit Maharaj type? Parikshit Maharaj also asked questions and Dhritarashtra also asked questions. There are two people who asked questions in the Bhagavatam, right? So Dhritarashtra is, what example is of question? He is pretending to be asleep. He always asked how, but never. Did he change? No. He never changed. But he kept asking questions. So what was his question? What can I do? This is my fate. My son Duryodhana won't listen. What choice do I have? What can I do? How can I stop my son? How can fate be overcome? He asked this question all the time, but he never changed. His questions were not seeking solutions. His questions were justifying inaction. His questions were justifying his unwillingness to surrender to the right path. Now let us contrast Dhritarashtra with Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj didn't ask. He asked the question, how do I prepare for death? But before asking the question, what did he do? He sat down on the bank of Ganga and he surrendered his whole being. So when Parikshit Maharaj learned that he's going to die in 7 days, he didn't ask, how should I prepare? What luggage should I pack up? How should I chant? He didn't ask all of that. What did he do? He acted. He renounced everything. He sat on the bank of Ganga and surrendered. And then he asked many questions. He asked many questions. But his questions were preceded by action. Are you getting this? Or is it getting too technical? But just think about it. He asked questions, but before asking questions, there is something interesting he did. So he learned about the curse, right? When he got the news that he's been cursed. So we always repeat Parikshit Maharaj's questions in our classes, but rarely do we discuss what he did before asking questions. So this is what he did. Tatro pajagmur bhuvanam punana mahanubhava munaya cha shishya prayena tirtha bigama padeshe swayam tirtha nipunanti santa. So when Parikshit Maharaj, the news spread. Now during those days, they didn't have social media. Still the news spread like wildfire to different planetary systems. So everyone came to know that this amazing king, the most powerful emperor, he's renounced everything. So they all came with all the great saints from different planets with their disciples came to see Parikshit Maharaj. And who were these saints who came to see him? Anye cha devarshi brahmarshi varya rajarshi varya arunadayascha nanashaya pravaran sametan abhyarchya raja shirasa vande. So brahmarshi, rajas, these are all different designations of rishis. There are different classes. So brahmarshi, rajarshi, maharshi, all of them came. And they are like, it's like top guys coming, to see Parikshit Maharaj. Now, Parikshit Maharaj could have thought, okay, see, I'm a great king. I've renounced everything. So these guys have come to see me. No. Parikshit Maharaj, Abhyarchya Raja, Shirasa Vande, he fell at their feet. He said, no, you've come because you are kind to me. You have come to bless me. And then he calls himself. Now, before he asks questions, he surrenders. And he says, you have come to me not because I'm a great king. You have come to me because my grandfather Arjuna is great. And just to be kind to him, just to reciprocate with him, you are showing kindness to me. Aho vayam danyataman ripana mahattamanu grahaniya shila ragyam kulam brahmana pada shauchat durad srishtad batagarya karma. He says, I am like a toilet. I am like a place washroom, where you go and wash your feet before you enter the house. In the Vedic culture, the washrooms would be outside the house. And then you wash your feet and then enter the house. So he says, I am like a place where you go and wash your feet. I am discarded. I am useless. But you've come here not because I'm a great king who is wonderful. You've come here because you want to be kind to me. You want to help me. So this funda is very clear. Parikshit Maharaj, his humility and his surrender is established. And then he asks questions. So asking questions is great. But Dhritarashtra's problem was he never surrendered. He just kept asking questions. So when Parikshit Maharaj was asking question, his mood was, who can help me remember Krishna in my final days? How can I remember Krishna as I'm dying? There was hunger. In Parikshit Maharaj, when he was asking questions, there was hunger. In Dhritarashtra, when he was asking questions, there was hesitation. So when you ask questions, just ask this one question to yourself before you ask a question. Is there hesitation or is there hunger? Parikshit Maharaj's question, how, was not an escape. It was a doorway into presence of Krishna. So, the mind has a very amazing disguise. How the mind, disguise, it inquires as a defense system. So I've heard a class where Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj says, chant sincerely, forgive someone, give up envy, begin with gratitude. I've heard Maharaj say all these four in one class. So I remember the question that came to my mind immediately when you were saying this. How do I feel gratitude when I don't feel it? I don't know if you've got this question. Many times when my Guru Maharaj says something, my mind protests by saying, how do I feel gratitude when I don't feel it? How can I forgive someone when I don't feel it? So it appears as if the mind is sincere, but it is actually trying to stay in the safe zone where there is no risk, there is no exposure, no ego death. I'll repeat, no ego death. Because how becomes a hiding place? Because mind allows us to remain near Krishna, but never with Krishna. Mind doesn't want us to be with Krishna. Mind will bring us near Krishna, but it will not take us to be with Krishna. Mind is very expert. So what mind does, it takes us to the bank of Ganga, but never allows us to get into the Ganga. It will come near Krishna and ask question and then go back to pretend to be basically avoid surrender. What my Guru Maharaj said, this is spiritual procrastination. I'm saying all of this because of one lecture where my Guru Maharaj said one sentence which hit me so hard. He said, non-devotees are also in Maya and devotees are also in Maya. Non-devotees, Maya gets them by telling them not to surrender to Krishna. Non-devotees, they are in Maya because Maya Devi tells them not to surrender to Krishna. But devotees, Maya convinces them to postpone their surrender to Krishna. That's how both of us are in Maya. So I'm a devotee, and you may think you're not a devotee, and you may think you're in Maya. I'm also in Maya, you're also in Maya. Both of us are in Maya. So we are not seeking Krishna many times. You know what we are seeking? You may not like to hear this. We are seeking protection from Krishna. What protection? We subconsciously know, Prabhus, Matajis, we know that if I truly surrender, something in my identity will have to die. And that is scary. See, when I surrender to Krishna, something will die. Some part of the ego will go. So what do? The ego delays. Keep asking questions. It doesn't really want the answers to those questions. But because the answer will require commitment, so it doesn't want the answer. It just keep asking questions. So what we need is not more technique. What we need is a moment of honesty. I'll repeat. We don't need solutions. Many of us know the solutions, Prabhus. You have been in the Krishna consciousness for 10 years. I see some of you here. Your videos are on. Thank you. I don't want to take your names and embarrass you. But you've been around for a long, long time. So you don't need answers, Prabhus. You need a moment of honesty. Am I truly seeking Krishna or am I hiding behind a question? Sometimes what is the most powerful spiritual practice? My friend Anandam Prabhu will say most powerful spiritual practice is chanting extra 128, 192 rounds. Or my Shiksha Guru Gauranga Prabhu would say the most powerful spiritual practice is read Bhagavatam. My friend Damodar Prabhu would say most spiritual practice is hear Gaur Leela. So everybody will have a solution for what is the most powerful spiritual practice. But what is actually the most, sometimes, not always, sometimes the most powerful spiritual practice is none of this. But just to pause and ask, what am I avoiding right now in my relationship with Krishna? Just ask this question. What am I avoiding right now in my relationship with Krishna? When you sit with this question, in that stillness, in that silence, the illusion will crack. The false how will disappear. And what will remain is a soft heart that will whisper, Krishna, I'm afraid. Krishna, I'm insecure. Krishna, I'm suffering. Krishna, I'm really afraid, Krishna, but I want you. This is what we will say in that moment of vulnerability. This is vulnerability in action. This is how we come in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, I'm afraid, I'm not strong, I'm weak, but I want you. So the real question, the most honest prayer sometimes is not, how do I surrender? That's not the real most important question. Is what am I avoiding right now? Ask this question. And this one sincere question can break a lot of illusion. It exposes our hiding. We are hiding behind something. That hiding gets exposed. It brings the heart into light. It invites Krishna inside our heart. When I ask this question, what am I avoiding right now? It's painful to answer this question, but this one question is enough, because this one line will touch Krishna more than hours and hours of intellectual inquiry. We are constantly asking so many questions in our head, but more powerful than all of those questions is this one sentence, that Krishna, what am I avoiding right now? Please reveal to me. Even if you're not able to surrender, at least confessing it is vulnerability. So now, what I mean by practically, now you may say, okay, Prabhuji, okay, now what is the practical application of all of this? It's a theory ho gaya. Abhi practical kya kare? I've already told you what is practical. Just ask this, pause and ask this question. What am I avoiding right now in my relationship with Krishna? So next time, when your mind cheats you by asking you a question, because mind will tell you, how can I surrender to Krishna? How can I love Krishna? How can I be grateful? Mind will ask you this question. So you know what you should answer? The mind, when the mind says, how can I surrender? You say, let me take one small step now. When the mind says, how can I love Krishna? You should answer, let me say thank you right now. When the mind says, how can I be grateful? I'll be grateful by chanting one mantra with love now. Have you noticed something in all my answers? There is one word that is coming out again and again. Now. So application is from how we should move to now. HOW, replace HOW to NOW. This will shift you from paralysis to participation. We are paralyzed intellectually because we're constantly asking questions. Let us participate with Krishna. Don't wait for clarity to act. One of the biggest mistakes we have done as devotees is we have been waiting for years for clarity to act in Krishna consciousness. No, clarity often comes after action. Clarity comes after the first act of sincerity. Don't think sincere action will come after clarity. We don't need perfect answers. We don't need techniques. We need present moment, awareness, connection. When we stop hiding behind the how, when we start acting now, when we stop pretending to be asleep, Krishna will be present in our lives. So therefore, the path forward in bhakti as we go as ABC community, please know it is not about learning something new, because there is nothing new, Prabhus. If you have been in ISKCON for 6 months, you already know all the answers to all the questions. When you ask a question, if I tell you, I'll tell you honestly as a preacher, I have to share this with you. This is amazing. You know, many times in my private space, I have written down questions which people have asked me in classes where I didn't have the answers. Sometimes when I have questions, I don't ask. I take a break, I take a deep breath, and then I say, okay, this question I have, what if somebody asks me this question, what will I answer? And then I get the answer. I get the answer to my own question. So that's what I'm trying to say, that sometimes we know the answers. So there is nothing new that you will know if you have been in the ISKCON movement for 6 months, 1 year. See, Krishna, the going forward is not about learning something new or getting some new analogy, new answer, No, it's about doing what we already know. Now, I'll repeat. It's about doing what we already know now. Doing what we already know now. So instead of asking, how do I feel gratitude? Okay, this is a question. How do I feel gratitude, Prabhuji? Okay, now look at the answer. Say thank you right now. Simple. How do I love Krishna? Say, right now, say, Krishna, I want to love you. Okay. Is this difficult? Clarity often follows sincere obedience. We think, let me get clarity first, then I will follow bhakti. No. Understanding will deepen after action. So, Hare Krishna, a movement, we grow not by gaining knowledge. We grow by offering the heart. However small the gesture, if you just say, Krishna, I'm afraid, I'm not surrendering to you. I'm afraid, Krishna, but I want to love you. Krishna, I want to surrender to you. I'm not able to surrender. I can't chant 16 rounds, but I want to one day chant. I want to come to you, Krishna. I don't know how. This one act, this one offering of the heart is more powerful than hundreds of questions that we ask through our intellectual inquiry. So, therefore, there is a difference between, okay, now this does not, again, I'll clarify, this does not mean you don't ask questions. I'm just saying humbly that there is a difference between honest confusion of the heart and convenient confusion of the mind. I'll repeat. Honest confusion of the heart is different from a convenient confusion of the mind. The honest confusion is what, Krishna, I want to love you. I don't know how. Please guide me. This is the honest confusion of the heart. Krishna, I want to love you. I don't know how to love you. Please guide me. And then with this question, we start serving, we start learning, we start chanting. We also start asking questions in class. Perfect. But what is the convenient confusion of the mind? How do I love Krishna? And after asking this question, goes to sleep. So after asking this question, if I go to sleep, that means it is a confusion of the mind, not the heart. So spiritual life is very simple, my dear friends. It's just chant sincerely, offer gratitude, serve others, remember Krishna, accept responsibility for your heart. Simple. But simplicity is uncomfortable for the false ego. The ego would rather drown in complicated questions than swim in the ocean of simplicity and humility. Ego would love to swim in complicated world. So as long as we are stuck in the how, without moving to the now, we remain trapped in spiritual laziness, spiritual inertia. So therefore, the next time the mind asks how, pause. Just ask a question. Is this a question, a step towards surrender? Or is this a shield against surrender? If it is a shield, then remove that shield and say, Krishna, I'm here with you right now. I'm yours. And that moment of honesty will take us far, far ahead than hours of theoretical inquiry. And so therefore, let us wake up. Let us not pretend to be sleeping. You can't wake someone who's pretending to be asleep. But the good news is all of you 118 devotees are online. You are not asleep. You are all awake. Your video is on. I can see you are awake and you are smiling. You are hearing me. I can feel your longing. You all love Krishna. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come here. You wouldn't have switched on your videos. I can actually see your sincerity. So, but I'm just saying, don't let the how become the hiding place. Let it become a launching pad. Please ask questions, but let it be a launching pad from thought, from thinking, move to trusting Krishna, from questioning, move to connection to Krishna, from the mind, move to the heart. This is the point I'm trying to say. From constantly thinking, start moving to trusting. From constantly questioning, start moving to connection with Krishna. From always being in the mind, move to the heart. You know, when Srila Prabhupada, once one devotee asked many questions, this is a pastime of Prabhupada. Prabhupada, how to become sincere? Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna like that. Then again he said, but how to become sincere in bhakti? So Prabhupada, you know what he said? He said, you're already sincere. Just show Krishna by your action. Krishna is not fooled by your words. I'll repeat. Prabhupada said, you're already sincere. Just show Krishna your sincerity by your actions. Krishna is not fooled by your words. So what is Prabhupada saying here in this pastime? If you analyze this pastime, Prabhupada is saying, do it, not think it. See the two different words. Think it or do it. We get trapped by think it. So surrender is a muscle. Surrender is not mantra. Oh, I surrender to Krishna. No, do it. Say a thank you now. do something now. There is another Prabhupada pastime. Srila Prabhupada is in a room. This is a classic question. All the devotees ask this all the time. And fortunately, somebody asked Prabhupada, and Prabhupada gave an answer which I'm going to quote for the rest of my life. Anybody asks this question, the devotee says, Prabhupada, how do I become humble? Anybody has ever asked this question? How do I become humble? So Prabhupada, how do I become humble? You know what Prabhupada did? Prabhupada just nodded his head. He didn't answer immediately. With deep gravity, he cut through the fog. He said, why not be humble? Why ask? I'll repeat Prabhupada's answer. What is the question that was asked? How do I become humble? And what was Prabhupada's answer? Why not be humble? Why ask? Just like you are stunned and silent, the room in which Prabhupada, this devotee asked this question, the room was silent. Everybody understood it, struck like a thunderbolt. This answer is a thunderbolt. Prabhupada is saying, why not be humble? Why are you asking? Scripture shows again and again that those who are serious, they will not stay in the fog of how. They will move to now. Now. They take a step. They chant, they surrender, they offer bhoga to Krishna. They will fall, they will rise, but they will keep moving. They will keep moving. Prabhupada said, basically Prabhupada is saying with his answer that Krishna will help the devotee who is doing something for Krishna, the doer, not the delayer. Are you a doer or are you a delayer? Are you delaying surrender to Krishna? Gajendra is surrendering. Gajendra is not just trapped. See, Gajendra was caught in a crisis. He didn't keep asking questions. He called out, Krishna, please save me. He didn't philosophize. He surrendered. This sincerity touched the Lord's heart. When Prabhupada boarded the Jalduta at the age of 69, he had no money. He had no support. He had no institution. He didn't sit in India and keep asking, how will I spread Krishna consciousness in America? No, he said, Bhakti nahi bedanai, Rama kubu daro, Bhakti vedanta nama, kubu sartaka karo. Krishna, I have faith in holy name. You please help me. He replaced how with now. You know? Like once one devotee asked Prabhupada, how do I love Krishna? I'm giving all examples of questions that Prabhupada was asked about how. Prabhupada, how do I love Krishna? What is Prabhupada's answer? You're already loving. Just transfer it to Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna and follow the process. Love will come. So again, Prabhupada is showing, don't analyze, don't paralyze your paralysis by analysis, mat karo. Just surrender. Love comes through surrender, not speculation. So instead of asking, how can I become Krishna conscious? Let us begin with gratitude. Let us start thanking Krishna for everything we have. Let us praise Krishna. Let us glorify Krishna's qualities. Does Krishna need praise? No. I need it. I need to praise Krishna. Then third thing, see, prayer has these 5 things. Gratitude, praise, then dependence. Keep acknowledging that you cannot succeed without Krishna. So gratitude, praise, dependence, and surrender. Saying, at least theoretically, once in a while we should say, Krishna, I surrender to you now. Krishna, I want to surrender to you. Krishna, please teach me how to surrender to you. So this is surrender. And fifth, the last one is request. Ask whatever you want. But last, but first, most important is, for economy, I always say economy ke liye most important is GDP. I saw Rishank on the video right now, so I just remembered GDP. Every economy is good or bad, GDP देखो उसका. So similarly, आपका spiritual life अच्छा है कि नहीं, आपका prayer life अच्छा है कि नहीं, GDP देखो. Gratitude है, dependence है और praise है. ये 3 है क्या? अगर ये 3 है, then you will be, if you have a culture of expressing gratitude, dependency, and praise, then it will be easy for you to surrender. It will be easy for you to say, Krishna, I want to surrender to you. And that will awaken presence. See, unfortunately, what is happening, the prayer has a 6th element also. I deliberately did not say it. There are 6 things in a prayer. I only said 5. Gratitude, dependence, praise, surrender, and request. But the 6th one is, I deliberately did not say, but I'll say now, that is explaining your own faults to Krishna. Krishna, this is the mistakes I have done. These are the faults I have done. But I didn't say this because all the 6 are important in prayer. Generally, what happens, I don't want to take names and embarrass you, but I know some devotees who are there today also in the class. Their emotions are activated when they are recounting their faults and inadequacies. But the mind stays dull when it is expressing gratitude, praise, dependence. So see, there are 6 elements in prayer: gratitude, praise, dependence, surrender, request, and faults. अपना faults बताने में. But जब faults बताते हैं तो पूरा emotions आ जाते हैं. But when we are praising Krishna, when we are gratitude, mind is not awakened. Therefore, we have to be present in the now while expressing gratitude also. So we have Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, Parishit Maharaj, Arjuna, Gajendra, 6 Goswamis. Are kitna examples see. But next time when the mind says how to do it, just pause and ask, is my soul seeking guidance or is my mind wanting delay? Just ask this question. Is my mind, and if the soul is wanting guidance, then yes, come forward, ask the question. If it's a mind, then smile and take a step anyway. Do what needs to be done. Because when we stop hiding behind the how, we actually start living in the now. And bhakti is all about now, because Krishna is always in the now. Krishna is not there tomorrow. Krishna was not there yesterday. Krishna is here now. So I want to end with this one prayer of Prahlad Maharaj, Parishit Maharaj, before leaving this world. Very sincerely, he tells Sukdev Goswami, Tamopayatam pratiyantu vipra ganga cha devi dridachitamishe bijopasrishta kuvakastakshako va dashatvalam gayata vishnu gatha. He says, oh sages, you have assembled here. I request you. I have here on the bank of Ganga, all the great devotees are here. Let this magical bird Takshaka come and bite me. Let me die, I have no problem. But Dashat Valangayata Vishnu Gata, all of you please glorify Krishna. This is surrender. He's saying, I want to just be with Krishna now. That is the basis on which he starts asking questions. And then he says, give me blessings. What the blessings he wants? Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante prati prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsu yamyam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhya. He says, if I have to take birth again, Krishna, please give me these 3 blessings. Give me unconditional love to Krishna and give me attraction to devotee association. Let me always have association of devotee and hear Krishna Katha in that association. And third, let me have compassion for all living entities. Let me give love of Krishna to everyone else. So this is the mood of a devotee. So in this mood, Parishit Maharaj has entered the Bhagavatam scene. So let us have a question in our heart in the mood of Parishit Maharaj and not in the mood of Dhritarashtra. So in that mood, when we come to spiritual life, our questions will be a launching pad. They will help us come closer to Krishna. They will not be a barrier. They will not be a wall. So see how your mind and ego tricks you and make yourself strong. And let us help each other. I also need help because mind also tricks me by asking questions. In fact, my journal writing, there was a time when my journal writing was a mess because I was asking this, I was asking wrong kind of questions in my journal. And then I realized at some point of time that, oh, I'm avoiding surrender by trying to answer these questions in journal. So then I stopped asking why I'm going through this problem. Why, sometimes why questions are bad. I asked, what can I do now to come closer to Krishna? So when I started asking now, what I can do now, that is more important than analyzing, thinking, asking questions about the past, which has no basis. So this is my humble presentation to all of you on when how becomes a hiding place. So please forgive me if I've spoken anything inappropriate. It is just that this is a forum where I can share from my journal. So I just shared my heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Like, I'm speechless. It was straight from your heart. So many points are there, like which we can always meditate on. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So I think we'll open up the forum for questions.
Yes. Please don't feel bad. I didn't want to intimidate you to stop asking questions. This is just a principle theory. I spoke. Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Yuganshi Mataji can go first and then Ajit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for such an amazing enlightenment kind of talk. But I have a very practical, though the session was practical, but still, like, next we have Nirjala Ekadashi, Prabhuji. And that day it will be very difficult to grateful to be in the now, because my body will be asking for water, food, something. And on a very personal note, I am somebody who needs food. I can't do without it. So that day, what should be my process to be surrender and all of what you have said and still do what is asked in a practical manner?
Why are we doing? Thank you for this question. It's a very practical question. It's a common problem. See, sometimes now Rupa Goswami has told us this principle of Niyamagraha. He says we follow rules to come closer to Krishna. But sometimes we neglect rules or we go to the other extreme. We get attached to rules without understanding the purpose of the rule. Why are you fasting on Nirjala Ekadashi? What is the purpose behind fasting? So that we can remember Krishna better. So if your fasting is torturing you so much that you are unable to remember Krishna, then take a little Ekadashi Prasad and continue chanting. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's guru, for one devotee, one disciple, on Ekadashi he gave him grains. He said, okay, at least do seva. Don't just keep crying that you're weak, can't do anything. The idea is, of course, not that you eat grains. Please eat Ekadashi Prasad. The idea is, don't forget the goal. The purpose is we fast so that we don't waste time in eating and sleeping and focus on remembering Krishna. But you're not able to remember Krishna because you're feeling so weak. Then, okay, now I'll tell you something. I also don't fast. In the sense, I take water on Nirjala Ekadashi. I also take juices sometimes. I fast on other days. I'm going through some crazy diet schedule. But Nirjala Ekadashi, I don't actually do without water. I don't know it's been how many years since I've done. Every Nirjala Ekadashi, like other Ekadashis, I take water. Because for me, my chanting, my study of Bhagavatam is more important because it helps me connect with Krishna. So please do that, Mataji. And I'm sure you'll have a wonderful Ekadashi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Ajit Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Many thanks for such an enlightening lecture, Prabhuji. It was really like introspecting on each and every sentence which you were speaking. And I was just thinking that many times there are no questions. And as you rightly said that if you're there in this movement for 6 months or 1 year, you have answer to all the questions. Right. So this was really great. But Prabhuji, I have one question here. In the last, when you said prayer has 6 things and the 6th was faults, can you please elaborate on the faults part of it? Because this is something which,
yeah. See what happens in a relationship, if you love someone and if you always keep fighting at the ego level that I am right, then your relationship never blossoms. But if you honestly confess your fault and if the other person, if your partner is really loving, mature, will the partner not love you more because you confessed your fault? And imagine your partner your partner knows, like let's say, this is a very gross example. You have done something stupid with your WhatsApp, you send some wrong kind of messages to someone and you are trying to flirt with someone and then your partner comes to know, but the partner is waiting for you to accept and confess your fault. And before your partner says, if you confess your fault, is there a hope of redemption or not? But if you don't say, then there is more entanglement, more suffering. So similarly, we always make faults. We always commit mistakes. So when we come in front of Krishna and we confess our faults, Krishna is smiling. Krishna, you know what Krishna will say? I already knew it. No problem. Thank you for saying. I love you unconditionally. Krishna, this is what Krishna will say. When you confess your fault, when you confess your fault to another human being, you are scared of being judged. You are scared that my partner or my friend or the person I have a relationship with will not be happy. But Krishna ke saath mein is a different logic. When you confess your faults to Krishna, you will hear Krishna say, I knew it. And it's okay. I love you. Go now. Krishna will not judge you. That's the best part. Our problem is we think Krishna is also like the people of this world. If you tell your fault to your partner also may be insecure like you, and he or she may become more miserable, and he or she may not be able to reciprocate with. That is the problem in material world. People are not perfect, but Krishna is most perfect. When we confess our faults to Krishna, we feel more loved by Krishna. But my problem is why I did not speak about it in the class, because I've seen devotees are expert in meditating on their faults, but they don't remember Krishna. They don't connect to the Krishna part of the faults. They only meditate on their faults, and they don't remember praise, gratitude, all the other things. So then what happens? The energy, the emotion, and the energy of emotion is invested in the faults. So that doesn't make them humble, that makes them depressed.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
So
Really.
we need to remember our faults, but we also need to feel loved by Krishna. After expressing your faults, pause and wait for Krishna to reveal to you that he loves you.
Yeah.
If you are not feeling loved by Krishna, then stop narrating your faults. Start thanking Krishna. Start doing the other 5 things of the prayer. And then when you start feeling loved by Krishna, then again you enter the space of faults.
And Prabhuji, is this to be also followed in our routine life, confessing faults, despite of whatever the situation be?
I don't know who we are talking about. Krishna, yes, it works. With other human beings, I don't know how much it will work.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. Varies from situation to situation, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajit Prabhu. So yeah, Vishwambar Kripa Das Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. As you said this morning that you get answer to your questions when you hear. So I was reading your book, Second Time Mind Your Mind. And in the beginning, you mentioned that even I'm writing this, the mind is my interpreting. My mind is being involved to understand. So the honest confusion of the heart and the convenient confusions of mind, I'm still facing this challenge, and I really wanted to improve how we can go from the space of mind to the heart space. So Prabhuji, I need your help to help understand, because whatever the message we are hearing, we are interpreting using the mind.
Yes.
And it make things everything very much mechanical. At the end, after this class is over, mind make everything mechanical. So how we can transcend ourselves from the mind space to heart space so that we can able to practice now this thing. So please help me, Prabhuji.
The way we move from the mind to the heart is when we give up struggle. Right now, the more you are asking these kind of questions, more you will be trapped in the mind space. Struggle, control is all in the space of the mind. How do we move to the heart? By giving up the struggle. Yes, I don't have the answers. When you say this, I don't know whether I'm in the heart space or the mind space. I don't know how to go to the heart space. I surrender. Krishna, I am yours. When you let go the struggle for clarity, right now you are wanting clarity. Right now you want to become perfect. Right now you want to improve. Basically, you want to control. You want to control your life. You want to be good. You want to be a good devotee. You want to be a sincere devotee. You want to become a perfect devotee. You want to meet all the gaps. But I am giving you a fundamentally different paradigm. You're already perfect. Do you know that? You're already wonderful. You're already most complete. You're dear to Krishna. Can you be in that space for some time every day? That is a space of surrender where you are, Krishna, I'm yours. Be in that space. Right now, there is nothing wrong with you. When you're in that space, you're in the heart space. And then in that space, when you cry, when you say, oh, I'm so fallen, I have these faults, all of that will be ecstasy only. But our problem is we are always living in the gap. And we just have to let go the struggle. We just have to come to Krishna and say, Krishna, I'm yours. Whatever I am now, nonsense. I'm stupid. This is a wilted flower I'm having. But this is what I have. This is who I am, and I'm yours. And when you're in that, right now, if you can offer your heart and your complete existence to Krishna with all your kachara, with all your faults, that means you have moved from the mind to the heart space. We are not able to move from the mind to the heart space because we think I have to become pure and perfect, then I can offer Krishna everything. Many devotees make this mistake. They think I have to become perfect, then I can surrender to Krishna and I can offer Krishna. I'm challenging you. Offer Krishna right now. Don't wait to become pure. You enter the heart space now. Your question also is revealing that only. How do I become sincere? How do I become pure? So that's why you are delaying your surrender. Because you are thinking, okay, if I practice what Prabhuji is saying, then I will do like this, then I will do that, and then I'll become pure, then I'll enter heart space. Then I'll become dear to Krishna. No. Whatever you are, whoever you are right now, offer your heart to Krishna. You have touched Krishna. So the way we move from the mind to the heart is by letting go the struggle and surrendering now. Hare Krishna. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. So what happening is we are very much wired about thinking all the time, not acting. So basically, you're saying just forget about thinking. Just be true to yourself and say to Krishna whatever you want to say it. When the thinking
Yes.
comes, actually, it's you're not in your space.
So thinking is needed. Obviously, we need discrimination, we need judgment. But sometime in a day, when you are chanting a japa, for example, just be in the heart space. Just accept yourself for who you are. Don't keep criticizing and feeling inadequate. Don't be in the space that I'm not good, I'm not complete. Always in the gap space will make you, even when you get Krishna, you'll create a gap. You'll think that something is wrong. We have to sometimes be in the gain space. You already gained Krishna. You have already reached. Everything has become a means for us. We have to understand in Krishna consciousness, this is the end. Prabhupada said, what is the goal of chanting Hare Krishna? Prabhupada said, chanting more Hare Krishna. For us, we chant Hare Krishna to be happy. But pure devotees are, see, we are chanting Hare Krishna because we want Krishna. Pure devotees are chanting Krishna because they have Krishna. That is the difference.
Yes, Prabhuji,
So,
I got your point.
So we are chanting Hare Krishna thinking I'll get Krishna one day. We get Krishna many times. And we are still, I don't have Krishna, I'll get Krishna one day. So that's why we never get Krishna. We don't realize that Krishna is already here. You just have to say, Krishna, with all your faults, Prabhu, with all your problems that you have, you just offer them to Krishna for healing. Now, not tomorrow. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There is few questions on the chat also, and then we'll take up live. So,
Okay.
Dipali Mataji will come to you. I'll have one question from Kashish Raj Purohit Mataji from Saudi Arabia. She is saying, my question to Prabhuji is, sometimes despite hearing answers to our questions in books, Zoom classes or Srimad Bhagavatam classes, they don't always resonate deeply. But then a small action by someone suddenly makes everything clear, and we realize this is what everyone was trying to explain. Perhaps Krishna wanted to convey this to me through that perfect person's actions. For example, Trinadapi Shunichena, we hear, also understand what it means, but when it comes to implement it becomes difficult, but through someone else's action, we understand, oh, this is how we can understand and implement. So my question is, why there is the need of action when we can understand through book or class?
See, it's a teamwork. Everything is helpful here. Action, knowledge, because when there is action, that is translating knowledge into reality. And only action without spiritual knowledge will not help us get realization. There are people I know who are very old. They have 70 years, they have worked so much, but they're still struggling with material desires. So just because they have a lot of experience in this world doesn't mean they have spiritual realization. So they need to hear Bhagavatam, otherwise they'll keep hoping for material happiness again and again. So we have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam so that we understand that material life is not fulfilling. But only hearing Bhagavatam and not taking responsibility will make us theoretical. So therefore, when we take responsibility and when we perform action and we also hear scriptures, that deadly combination will give us realizations. Therefore, both are important. So the realization you got was not because simply you read or simply you saw some action. It was a combination, it worked, and that combined teamwork helped you to get that realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, Dipali Mataji, you can go ahead and ask the question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thanks for an amazing class. Actually, I've attended for the first time, and it was wonderful experience of trying to be attentive in chanting. And my question is about chanting only and the class you gave today. So, when I'm talking apart from the first minimum targeted round, 16 rounds, when you try to chant extra sometimes, and then you go on chanting, and sometimes you feel that you start feeling that it is kind of burden, you're not enjoying that chanting, and your mind says that, it is better to read Bhagavatam, because you are not here. So might as well you read Bhagavatam, or, might as well you sing some bhajan. So, is it again, it is like mind is overpowering on the heart,
Yes.
or Krishna is, you are like you are away from Krishna, and, your mind is overpowering yourself.
Yes. It's a mind overpowering. So let us say you have resolved that now the next half an hour I'm going to chant extra. So let us say now you've decided I'm going to chant for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to chant. So as soon as you sit down to chant like this, the mind says, read Bhagavatam. It's obviously the mind, because you resolved and the mind is uncomfortable. Mind doesn't like surrender. So what you can do, instead of seeing that, so this is a way to trick the mind, okay? And enter the heart space. I'm sharing with you one, these are all japa hacks. This will help you. So next time when you sit down to chant, don't say I'm going to chant 4 rounds extra. Or don't say I'm going to chant 30 minutes extra. Say, next 30 minutes I'm going to spend time with Krishna in the form of holy names. Next 30 minutes I'm going to try to remember Krishna and thank Krishna for all the gifts he has given me. Next 30 minutes is my time for connecting with Krishna. So look at the change have you noticed the change in my language? Instead of saying next 30 minutes is to finish 4 rounds extra. Instead of saying that, you are saying, the next 30 minutes is to come back to Krishna. So what is happening now? From discipline, you are moving to longing. Many of us are trapped by discipline, determination, willpower. We think this will help us get Krishna. So we may have willpower and we may chant 4 rounds extra. So instead of that, I'm just saying, change the language sometimes, make it as a longing of the heart. Instead of seeing the next half an hour as 4 rounds I have to finish, see it as an opportunity to come back to Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Wonderful answer.
And one more thing, Prabhuji, that, as you said, that for somebody like being with Krishna is more chanting, for somebody is reading more Bhagavatam, or for somebody something else like reciting bhajan. So is it like whatever you do, still you are with Krishna, or more chanting should be there? Because Prabhupada has said that chant and be happy.
Prabhupada said chant and be happy. Prabhupada also said when devotees asked him what will please you the most. So some devotees thought Prabhupada would say chanting, some devotees thought Prabhupada will say book distribution, life membership, duty worship. Prabhupada said, what will make you most happy? What is Prabhupada's answer? Anybody knows? Prabhupada did not say chanting will make you most happy. Prabhupada said, if you love Krishna, I'll be most happy. And chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So if you are chanting Hare Krishna to be happy, that is wrong actually. We are chanting Hare Krishna to make Krishna happy. We are supposed to chant Hare Krishna to make Krishna happy. So if you are chanting Hare Krishna to be happy, that is you are looking for emotional gratification. Earlier you wanted sense gratification. Now you came to Hare Krishna. Now you want your mind to be happy. So that is same, no? Little polished. But so let us chant to make Krishna happy. And whatever nourishes you, you do that. If chanting nourishes you, do that more. See, we also need to perform activities that make us see in Krishna in a relationship. You give the person what the person wants, and you also give the person what you love. You offer what you also love, and you also offer what the other person loves. Similarly, in our bhakti also, we chant Hare Krishna because Krishna loves it. And if you also love it, great. But if you don't love it, if you love bhajans more, or if you love deity worship more, to offer that to Krishna. Offer what we cannot offer Krishna what we don't have. We can offer Krishna only what we have. So if you have attraction for writing journals, or if you have attraction for memorizing verses, offer that to Krishna. So I know one Vaishya devotee is like business background, and I get stressed when I talk to him because he's always talking about money. So he's always talking about raising funds for Krishna. But I'm just amazed, we both are completely different personalities, but I can see how he is doing it for Krishna. He's not doing it for a sense gratification. So he's offering his talent of capitalist mentality for Krishna. So great. I know one devotee is always talking about, creating an army, he's a Kshatriya type. He wants to create a devotee army. And he has quotes of Prabhupada. Prabhupada pastime that Prabhupada says we should be Kshatriyas, we should have devotees doing march parade, that march past and parade saying Hare Krishna, all those pastimes he showed me. So he wants to create a battalion, he wants to create an army of Hare Krishna devotees. He wants to do it for Krishna. So he is also offering Krishna what he has. But all of us have to chant our japa, so that because we know Kali Yuga Dharma is Harinam Sankirtan and Krishna wants us to chant. So we chant minimum whatever is told. And we also chant extra to make Krishna happy. But again, it's not the action, it is the longing. Why are you doing it? So that's why I said to the other question also, before chanting extra, instead of saying I'm going to chant 4 rounds extra now, you can say I'm going to chant now for the next half an hour because I want to be with Krishna. This is my time with Krishna. Change the language from determination to longing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Before I come to... Yes, Prabhuji, you say.
I can take only one last question. I have another meeting at 6:30. Just 3 minutes remaining for me. Somebody waiting.
I'm confused now. I have 1 on chat and 2 live, Prabhuji. I don't know what.
I will answer all the questions. I trust me. Just send it to me. I'll reply to you on a voice note later. I'll answer all questions. But right now 6:30 I have to go. So I can take one question now.
We'll take Lekha Mataji and Ashish Prabhu's question and we will conclude.
Yes.
And then rest I will send on WhatsApp.
Yes. And I'll answer all the questions. Yes. Not that I know the answers, but just as a service. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the nice class. Very eye-opener for us. And the question I have is, Prabhuji, regarding the prayer that we mentioned, the components like the gratitude, dependence, praise, so etc. So but the request part that was discussed, so my understanding is that we need to request Krishna to guide us for our spiritual progress. Is the understanding correct, Prabhuji? Because
just one second. Hare Krishna Omkar, I'm coming for the meeting. Just 2 minutes. Please wait. Be outside the Vrindavan forest. I'm coming there. Yes, please continue, Mataji. Yes.
So, Prabhuji, the request part of prayer, are we talking about requesting Krishna to help us, for our spiritual progress? Because I read it somewhere or I heard it somewhere, that we should not request Krishna for any material benefit. So, are we talking about the spiritual progress and the guidance for that?
Oh, I don't see it as... I see you have to be honest with Krishna. It's not important whether you ask material things or spiritual things. Some people may say we should not ask material things, only spiritual things. So you ask them what to do with the material things then. You ask them what to do with the material desires. They keep coming up. So whoever has told you that we should not ask material desires from Krishna, only spiritual desires, then you ask that person, what do I do, Prabhuji? I have material desires. I'm attached to my child. I'm attached to my spouse. I'm attached to my family. What should I do with those desires? If you have come to me, I will say, instead of asking spiritual desires, be honest with Krishna. Tell Krishna what is your situation, but don't just ask for material desires. First, practice the other things also. Gratitude, praise, forgiveness, all those things you practice. Then you also ask what you want. If a child does not go to the parent, whom the child will go to? You can't artificially become mature and advanced beyond your... Dhruva Maharaj wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. He had a material desire. He went to Krishna. Bhagavatam says, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena ejeta purusha param. Whatever your desire, sarva kama, if you have a lot of material desires, go to Krishna. Come to Krishna, but end your prayers by saying, Krishna, I'm a fool. I'm asking for all these desires. Please give me the intelligence that next time when I come in front of you, let me ask only for those things that are good for my spiritual life. But right now I'm attached to this. I want this. Please help. So what is happening? You are being honest also, and you're also aspiring for something better. Many of us are honest, but in the name of honesty, we become shameless. We don't improve. We don't advance spiritually. Some of us, in the name of being spiritual, having spiritual desires, we become very artificial. So either we are artificial by asking for spiritual desires, or we are shameless by only asking for material desires. So I'm giving you a middle path. I'm saying be honest about your material desires and honest about also your aspirations. I want to progress. I want to go forward. Is that okay, Mataji? Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Very nice analogy. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can conclude, I think. Thank you so much for the session,
Well,
Prabhuji.
I have something very important to say. I see many of you here on the screen. Trust me when I say this. I love you so much. I feel so connected to this ABC community because you are so kind. You're giving me a chance to share with you what is very close to my heart. Because I am now 52. And I feel now whatever Krishna consciousness preaching, I did 25 years of preaching. But now going forward, I want to only share what is close to my heart. I don't want to speak simply from the textbook. I want to speak what I've digested. And ABC is a forum where I get a chance to share what I am digesting, what I am learning, rather than copy paste. So my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you for coming, for keeping your videos on. I know many of you joined from very far off places. I know Atlanta, I think it's early morning there, Nitai Prabhu, and I know it's not easy for devotee. I see London, I see Nishtha. She's so nice. She's there online. Thank you. I see all of you, and I'm very grateful to devotees who have come from all over the world. Thank you so much. Thank you, Surbhi Bharadwaj. I'm very grateful to you for joining and for managing this. Thank you, all the devotees. Thank you, Shivam Prabhu, for organizing this. And I hope to see you again next Saturday. Hare Krishna.